So unfortunately, we've been muted for way longer than we think we have been.
Oh shit.
As I just unmuted us and don't actually know who hit the mute button, but it wasn't me. So going back real quick, Tom Kaufman playing the blue-red Tom Kaufman Delver Special. 1 Forks Negation, 1 Vapor Snag. Other than that, pretty standard. We're going to see the newfound just raw power of Dreadhorde Arcanist if he can get it rolling. He has, with the Dreadhorde Arcanist, he does have, Vapor Snag, Lightning Bolt, and Chain Lightnings to help keep the goblins down. I can see him getting on a little bit of a roll.
Yeah, he can try and contain. He has a lot of removal just to contain like those goblin starts just before things get out of hand. Dan Ford is running 4 Warren Instigators alongside his 4 Goblin Lackeys to try and push out extra damage out onto the board as fast as possible.
So, like we said when we were muted, this is a non-standard Goblin list. So this could be, from Dan not playing a lot recently. He's not very in the, Ren and 6 meta, but he is running a very anti-combo list with none of the new fancy munitions experts, which are there to kill the Ren and 6s. He is running 1 Sling Gang Lieutenant, which I think is, from the Goblins players that I know, is insane and should be a little bit more of a one-of, especially with the Drain ability, as opposed to the Pay 2 of the Siege Gang Commander.
It's a great finisher.
I feel like the Kiki Cheeky Goblin Settler kind of thing has been it might be a little bit outdated is what we're going to say. Not that it matters in this matchup, I'm just saying in the current meta. We see Tom's hand, double force, daze, only lands a wasteland, so he's probably going to send that immediately back.
And also, as we mentioned while we were muted, Dan's running a single copy of some pre-sideboarded cards in his main deck, including 1 Surgical Extraction, 1 Blood Moon, and 1 Caracas, which... see if he can just utilize that in this matchup.
Tom did have the Force for the Vial. Super important. He draws. Mountain. Go. Doesn't have the island. Has Wasteland, Mountain to start.
Or an Instigator.
There's the Instigator. We're going to get a read from Tom. Tom cannot be happy about that card.
See if he lets it live, even a turn.
I don't think he has anything to do except Force of Will It.
Yeah. Oh, he played the Cavern of Souls, so...
Can't Force of Will It. There's more counter magic. There's a blocker. And it does, in fact, have double strike, right?
Yeah.
So it can attack through.
So he'll lose that Pyromancer.
He will lose the Pyromancer.
But we see Tom has a True Name Nemesis in hand, so he can just survive this.
In this instant, this lets Tom make a 1/1 to daze this.
Yeah.
Oh, never mind. He's also just going to kill whatever this blocker is.
Tom also doesn't have blue mana, so he actually can't cast that True Name in hand next turn, even if he were to draw a 3rd land at all.
So this is just going to be at least game 1 looks like just pure uncounterable threats against.
Yeah. This is a great start for Dan Ford.
First strike.
Ooh,
Chieftain. Second damage. There's the Sling Gang.
Jeez.
And I would like to see Dan's list just have more of these cards, like just the pure I'm gonna get ya.
Yeah, especially with all the Warren Instigators, just more of density. But he's the Goblin's expert, so he knows what.
So what are we to say? I wish Hadley was here to disagree or agree. But we know Hadley is leaning heavily into the Black Splash.
Yeah.
And what I would have liked to talk to Hadley about is the overall strength of green cards in the meta right now. If he would ever consider going from black to green, maybe not even a 3rd splash, but
yeah, I think the Goblins maybe this was a really long time ago, but I thought they used to run Tarmogoyfs even alongside him.
I think that was when every deck, and we got the concession already.
Jeez.
But that was not pretty at all.
Dan Ford picks up the first game there. Let's look at their sideboards.
I remember when every deck was playing Tarmogoyf.
Yeah.
How the mighty has fallen, but
Times have changed. Let's see. So Tom Kaufman in sideboard is running 3 Abrades. Seems like a good choice, or potentially 2 Blood Moons, 2 Fluster Storms, a Force of Negation, 1 Price of Progress, 2 Pyroblast, 1 Sulfur Elemental, 2 Surgical Extractions, and a Narset Parter of Veils.
So the issue here being there are no board wipes. There is nothing to deal with a swarm of anyone that's going wide. And you see this in sideboards where this is just a pure, I want to say it's a pure sideboard win for Dan, but in that he's playing this tier 2, tier 3 deck that he's extremely familiar with, Tom's playing a deck that is just absolutely not tuned to deal with everything that Dan wants to do. And that puts him, you see him, even these sideboard decisions aren't going to be fun or very difficult.
Yeah, and most of these are just like bad choices for this matchup. He doesn't want any of the red hate, obviously, or non-basic hates.
Yeah, counter spells aren't going to work. Blue hate's not going to work. You're probably just bringing in a Sulfur Elemental for no real reason. You're bringing in a Braids and a Sulfur Elemental to block.
Yeah, just another body. Dan's sideboard, we see a Caracas, a Pyroblast, a Pithing Needle, 2 Pyrokinesis, a Relic of Progenitus, a Sharpshooter, a Chalice of the Void, Sting Scourger, 1 Blood Moon, 1 Tormod's Crypt, 1 Surgical, 1 Mindbreak Trap, and 2 Thorn of Amethyst. It's probably not too many changes on his end either.
He has everything to fight. He has everything to fight blue decks. He has everything that he'd want to deal with. There's no problem that says he shouldn't bring in, or there's no reason that he couldn't bring in Thorn of Amethyst to slow down the spell deck. He could bring in the Pyroblast to just flat out counter something. He doesn't actually have an answer other than Pyroblast to True Nemesis. So if he stumbles and Tom's able to capitalize on that, a True Nemesis is going to be able to pretty much wall the board.
Yeah.
Sorry, my work is still bothering me. But we have no other results yet. Nothing's been turned in.
This is like 4 minutes into this round.
No, it's 14 minutes into this round.
Once again,
this is ridiculous. What are we actually doing here? This is not our combo versus combo thing.
Yeah, 2 fair matchups on stream. That's surprising for Arizona.
I maybe or maybe not have definitely searched out the fair matchups in the best way we can. For anybody following along at home, this round is pitting the undefeated Justin Beck on, I believe, Infect against Anthony Hare on Bomberman, so combo versus combo. In the next round, we have Kevin McCoy on Reanimator against Gary Wong on Bomberman.
Correct.
Combo versus combo. Here we have our fair matchup, Goblins versus Delver. After that, we have Storm versus Nick Fit. Also lots of fun to be had. After that, Storm versus Jund. Following up the bottom is a red-white Moonblade against Elves. Delver against Infect.
Rub Delver against Infect.
And then Echo of Aeon Control, or combo, against
Turbo Depths.
So the Arizona meta is in full force. And something to be said about, the Arizona meta, as much as you want to say it's very almost toxic with what it is, but if you look at every single player here, every single player in this list, for the most part, is kind of one-tricking for what they're doing. These are the decks that they play. SB plays
Depths.
SB plays Depths. Gray plays Elves. Is Legacy still just a format where deck familiarity and knowing what you're going to do is going to take you further than just playing the most powerful deck?
Oh, I think for sure. A lot of value comes with that experience and knowledge of playing your strategy that you've honed your skills with over time. I think you see that through just players doing the same, being successful with the same deck over and over. And like we have lots of those kinds of players in Arizona here. It's pretty much Kinsman we see straying from his normal.
Kinsman's kind of the only person that's going out of the norm here.
Michael and Jesse too.
I mean, Jesse's still playing Thalia. I mean,
Yeah.
you can't say he's still playing, creatures that are hate bears, basically, which is what he's kind of known for. This is a different subset of hate bears. And Michael Day is still trying to do degenerate things. I don't see.
That's right.
Obviously, he chose a worse version of that, but he won with Blackbird Reanimator and he lost with Aeon Storm. So there's really not much. A little bit of a difference, but still trying to do broken things as fast as possible. Ideally on turn 1 or 2.
So our second game here. It's Tom Kaufman on the play. Wastelanding Dan's port, his first land. So Dan has no red mana here.
What is that?
That's a Chromox.
That is a Chromox.
So he'll get his red mana from this Chromox.
What art is that? New question.
Some promo one. Like a GP promo.
So my least favorite part about there's the Kiki Jiki. It gets imprinted so well.
Yeah.
But my least favorite part about casting is all of these weird arts that people decide to pick here.
Especially like all the different fetch lands. Like I'm so used to the original. Like,
All the different everything's. So this is where Dan's weird list is kind of doing a thing. Like he was able to eat that wasteland and then jump ahead in tempo. Now he has the wasteland and a red source in play.
Yeah. And Tom's no creature threat yet, so.
Heavy burn hand though.
Yeah.
I mean, I see 1, 2, 3, 4 burn spells.
Looks like Tom is aiming to be more controlling in this hand. Just keep a lid on Dan's goblin.
That's kind of what it needs to do though. Like keep Dan down. Try to survive. Try to ride a threat to victory. Hopefully that threat is the Dreadhorde Arcanist. I think that's the.
Oh yeah. He'll be able to make a extra use of all those burn spells in hand. And
I think that's probably the best thing that he could possibly do is get an active Dreadhorde and then try to keep Dan's goblin count as low as possible.
yeah, he's already survived the initial wave of potentially of goblins, which we know can snowball just from like lackey hits and ringleaders.
There's the Abrade on the Chrome Mox. That's a 2-for-1.
Yeah, geez.
There's the cycle to draw a card.
So Dan has no Ether Vial, no red source here.
No Ether Vial, no Lackey, no red source. What is his land count? Do you have a rough guess here?
Let's see, 8. It's like 21 lands.
One of them being a Caracas,
Yeah.
which isn't going to help. I mean, peels the mountain off the top, but no follow-up. No. He could be looking at a Warren Instigator in his hand. He could just be looking at a slow hand.
Yeah. 21 lands, but I think Goblins normally runs more than that.
I feel like 21 Goblins it's a Wasteland Port deck. It should be in the 24-25 range.
Yeah. His Chrome Moxes are kind of like compensating for that lack of lands.
I mean, compensating, except it just got abraded.
Yeah. That's the weakness of playing those alternate mana sources.
Yeah. So that's also card disadvantage.
Yeah.
So Coffin's kind of established a mana base. He needs to get going, though. Dan's not going to be stumbling for that much longer with his Green Bay Packers t-shirt on.
Turning Nemesis.
Pyroed. Tom's going to look at his hand. I believe he has a singular daze.
I think, like you were saying, that's his one answer to a True Name Nemesis before it hits the board.
Is the one Pyroblast that he happened to have.
Tom's running 3 True Name Nemesis in this deck total, so and after this one, still has 2 more to draw into. Try and seal this game up. See, Tom is running at 4 Dreadhorde Arcanist, 4 Delver.
This might be a big deal. Here's the Chalice through a daze, which is going to blank most of...
Tom's burn spells in hand.
I mean, that's relatively unlucky that that he had the Pyroblast turn that cost 1 turn before, then a Chalice on 1 right now.
It's good timing for Dan.
Very good timing for Dan. And especially since he had the one of Pyroblast, 2 of Pyroblast.
He only has...
One of Pyroblast.
Yeah, 1 Pyroblast. And Tom's already used 1 of his Abrades too, so we don't know how many he sided in, but 2 more to get rid of this.
Yeah, I would imagine 2 more.
Yeah.
He definitely has other things. So there's the True Nemesis, which is gonna be a big deal.
Yeah.
More and less so of a big deal if Dan keeps stumbling on whatever he's stumbling on.
Crater Maker.
The old Crater Maker.
Tom likely sideboarded out like a lot of his counter spells, I'm guessing. They seem kind of bad against goblins.
And he has the Daze in his hand, though, so that's the...
Okay, yeah.
The actual issue here. So Tom gets to untap. Slowly seems to be getting things. Has a young Pyro. He can in fact keep doing things.
Yeah, has the more threatening board presence for sure. Tom Kaufman does.
I mean, I would easily attack for 3, slam the Pyromancer.
Yeah. Even with the Pyromancer or the Chalice of the Void out, I think it would still be worthwhile to like throw 1-mana spells into the Chalice just to make the elemental tokens.
Then you're gonna start making elemental tokens, get going. That's how your 3-turn clock turns into something much more vicious.
Yeah. So Tom thinking things over here, how he wants to sequence this.
Tom is known to fall into the tank on a consistent basis.
Yeah, this round might go to time. It's a very good chance of that.
I mean, if Tom wins, if Tom can pull this game out, there's not going to be much time left for that game 3. Tom is kind of walking a tightrope, though.
Yeah.
Like, in the grand scheme of things, Dan's hand cannot be very good.
Yeah. It looks like he's down to like 3 cards in hand, Dan's hand.
Yeah, 2 or 3 cards in hand, but I mean, even on his side, with that Chalice on 1, any vials he draws are definitely useless. Any lackeys he draws are useless.
Yeah.
He has an absolute ton.
Third, etc. But this is the random winner.
Tax for 3.
Is there an Aaron with no last name on the
I think that's correct.
paper?
I'm Aaron.
I definitely think attacking
Do you
the
have
3
a
is
last name on
correct.
the paper?
I think he should have deployed that Pyromancer.
I think putting the Pyromancer in play is the most correct.
Like in this situation, like he's the one applying pressure. I think he should just continue with that advantage. But we'll see otherwise. It's gonna
So
get countered by
a
his
vial
Chalice.
into the Chalice. Not even exactly sure who called that, but we will find out. There's the Sulfur Elemental. That's a thing we talked about.
That makes sense then. Why he didn't cast
That's why
that.
he didn't. Yeah. I'm actually super surprised that chat didn't tell us that before.
Yeah.
Come on, chat.
I probably wouldn't have recognized
He's
the
probably-
Sulfur Elemental in hand.
Thomas might just be there at this point. Like he has forcible backup.
He's got his game-winning threat on board.
He has an actual quick clock. He should play this.
Pyroman.
He should play the Pyromancer. Yep.
What's that middle card in his hand?
Here's this. So now Dan really has to look. Does he want to kill this Sulfur Elemental? It's just a 3-1.
Yeah.
So here's this, or does he want to kill? And the young Pyromancer's going to come in.
I think Dan needs to Probably about amassing a board, like maybe just having one of those goblin explosions.
Goblin explosion, but he doesn't have enough red. Is going to be the first problem. Because pretty much every goblin has a red in its mana cost.
Yeah.
So even with this, he's down to 1 goblin a turn. 2 goblins. I can see 2 goblins now. But not if they cost 3. Chieftain. So now he has unblockable goblins.
No, I think that's the +1/+1.
+1/+1 in haste.
Yeah. Goblin King is the
not the Mountain Walk.
Yeah.
So would you snap Force of Will this? Because if you snap Force of Will this, you get an extra 1/1.
Yeah, I think it's correct.
Yep.
Like he's playing the tempo role at this point. He just needs to keep with what he has on board. Tom does, and just apply the pressure.
So now, no matter what, Dan's definitely blocking now, and all he can really do is delay damage. Because damage doesn't use a stack anymore. So and kill something.
Yeah. I think Tom is correct for sure. The Force of Will that.
Is that the Abrade?
I believe so. Yeah, I couldn't tell what that card was before.
I'm not exactly sure what it would be, but I'd want it to be the Abrade. Then you would bolt to the face?
Yeah, I would just bolt to the face at this point. You're gonna keep making elemental tokens. Yeah, I would just keep applying the pressure here if I was Tom. And the Abrade.
So I mean, if you attack and you don't do anything, he's gonna block, kill something, right? So he's taking 3. He's taking 4. So if you then Abrade and then double bolt, there's probably few bad things that can happen.
Yeah. We can only bolt once with this mana.
Well, untap double bolt, sorry.
Yeah.
So here's this. And he's going to do this. Okay, so now you just definitely Abrade.
Yeah. Get some extra tokens before that dies, the Pyromancer.
I mean, because he's taking 3, right? Yeah, so he's taking 4 right now. So it could just be lethal next turn if...
Okay, so he's...
has the Abrade.
He should fire off that bolt now, too, to the face, obviously.
And he should fire off the doesn't. Okay. May not matter, but it's only 1 damage. He only needs 1 damage to go through from here.
And maybe he just wants to save the bolt, says to clear blockers out of the way and just win on the board that way.
I mean, well, he has the True Name Nemesis. Mm-hmm. So the True Name Nemesis is pretty much the end-all, be-all of getting 3 damage to. He has 9 damage right now.
Yeah.
So this game is basically and for all reasons over.
Me and you typically don't have to worry about True Name.
Yeah, I don't really.
These fair deck
I don't think
players.
I've ever seen a True Name in play against me.
Must be a different world for these fair deck players.
Okay, we're going to 3. That was exactly what Mr. Kaufman needed to do.
Got a result here.
We have a result.
Anthony Hare his Bomberman wins 2-0 over Justin Beck on Infect. So Anthony is one of our undefeateds. 3-0.
I've got to start the super fun manual reporting.
Do we not have a application to figure that out?
It doesn't work. It's not going to work with pods like this.
Okay.
So the way they split it into pods, you have to keep them separate manually.
Okay.
I mean, that's that. I mean, I didn't decide to run it like this.
Luckily, it's only 16 people, so it's
Yeah.
not too difficult to calculate.
Yeah, no, we're done with that. Go.
There we go. We have Hare, the first 4-0.
So we'll have 2 undefeateds after this third round.
We will have 2 undefeated, and we will cast that game.
Okay. So Anthony Hare, and then who's the other potential undefeated?
The potential undefeated is going to be the winner of Alexander Tash, and Brian the Animal Kinsman. I mean, I don't necessarily think there's much re-sideboarding here. I'd probably make sure I don't have Dazes in.
Yeah, definitely. Seems pretty weak on the draw. Just
Take-
weak in general.
Take Dazes out. I mean, maybe even put in a Daze, take out a Force of Negation. Or put in a Force of Negation.
Yeah, it's just to hit like the Lackey or the Ether Vial potentially.
Yeah, like I don't. Daze is just so bad, especially against goblins.
Yeah. I mean, he's already brought in the Abrades, assuming, because that's the only card that's like really.
Yeah, 3 Abrades, Sulfur Matter. Elemental should come in for the
4 days.
4 Dazes. I don't really know what else you would do after that.
Yeah. I mean, he is running 1 Force of Negation main deck. Like, maybe you could, like, snag an Ether Vial, but maybe a Price of Progress.
Take out the Force of Negation, put in the Narset.
That's possible, too.
Because the Narset would just hopefully help you chain removal.
Yeah.
I mean, in this deck, that's kind of his end game would be making sure you have a lot of removal.
Yeah, I think that's what I would do. I'd set out the 4 Dazes and the Negation for Abrades, Narset, and Sulfur Elemental.
I mean, I'm not saying Narset's good. I'm just saying that
It's something better than
It's better.
what it has. Yeah. Dan's probably not making too many changes.
yeah. I mean, I know that
We saw the Pyroblast come in. If he puts a good use, countering that.
the first
True
True Nemesis.
Maybe the Pyrokinesis too. Like that could just be an easy answer to.
Just clear a little bit of the board.
Yeah.
I think it's worth it. I think he has a lot of options and a lot of things and a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Like Gem Palms are really good, Siege Gang's really good, Sting Scourger's really good.
Yeah. Jesse wins over Gray Elman. The Red White Moonblade over Elves. So I think Jesse's 2-1 then.
Yep.
Yeah.
So then this should be a clean last round into a top and bottom cut.
Yeah.
And then you get to play the straight top 8.
Yeah, the 16 players makes things pretty clean actually. And no draws obviously, so
Yeah, plenty of time, no draws. Then I say that, please don't draw.
a sudden death rule with these 2 decks.
Oh yeah, good luck. Definitely not manually factoring in draws. So no blue sources again, correct?
He has a Scalding
I guess it's
Tarn.
Scalding Tarn.
Yeah.
So Dan is keeping or mulliganing? Has he mulliganed once already?
Didn't notice. I guess they both mulligan into 6.
The old mulligan. Here's Mountain Vial.
The old Goblin Classic
I
start.
mean, that's why you take out the Dazes. Like this, I think in most instances, if he had the right sideboard, Tom would take out the Force of Wills as well.
Yeah, definitely. Counter Magic has very limited value against Ether Vial decks.
And Cavern Souls.
Yeah, for sure. Elver Secrets.
I don't hate this, as that is a very weak card in general in these fair kind of matchups. It's still a good way to try and win.
Crater Maker does 2 damage to a creature as one of the options, right?
Yes.
Okay. That's... Crater Rakers is Dan running. Let's see. 3 Goblin Crater Rakers.
For Tom to have a chance, Dan needs to kind of stumble. And I see lands in his hand, he has an active vial. Tom needs to do something to stop him from just running away with the game. I mean, it looks like there could be an Abrade in his hand.
Yeah, I would get rid of that.
There is also an Arcanist, which would make things Very interesting.
Oh yeah, especially considering that a braid and now like 2 juicy targets for it in Ether Vial and Chrome Mox.
I mean, the Arcanist can't flash back the Abrade for all intents and purposes. It's only equal to his power.
Oh, okay, you're right. Yeah.
I do know. Remember when they were running, what was it, Haze of Rage or something like that?
Oh yeah.
Which is +1 attack with Storm. I think I remember watching Frankie kill someone from 18.
I think they ran like Noble Hierarchs with it too, just to get the extra power.
I don't think I saw that, but that's awesome. That should be something they do. Dan's going in. So kind of a weird situation where Dan has both of his accelerants.
Mm-hmm. Auburn Matron. Let's see what answer just up here.
So Goblin Demonic Tutor, uncounterable.
I imagine he wants to get Ringleader and just refill his hand.
I mean, you'd say Ringleader, but you have a Vial on 1. Ringleader probably the best choice. Dan's gonna agree with you because he does get an uncounterable Ringleader next turn.
Yeah, assuming he has another land.
But in this, like right now where he is, like the Vial is basically doing nothing. Like the Chrome Mox kind of took away from that.
Mm-hmm. But that Ringleader hitting the battlefield will give him plenty of targets.
The Ringleader will in fact be a problem. Tom's, excuse me.
Dan has a nice foiled out Goblins deck.
With weird Chrome Moxes.
Yeah.
And bad sleeves, apparently. Here's the untap. So he's kind of, you debate, do you cast the Brainstorm to flip the Delver? I think you absolutely need to hit the Arcanist here and let the Arcanist start doing things.
So probably don't use the Brainstorm here.
Don't use the Brainstorm.
Yeah.
You need a little bit of help. That help being you need this Arcanist to land. You need this Arcanist to not die. And you kind of need the Ringleader to sort of whiff.
Yeah.
A lot of things that Tom needs and might not get a lot of help with. I mean, because if this Ringleader goes, he resolves a Ringleader, it's a general whiff and doesn't give him a whole lot. Mm-hmm. And Tom gets the active Dreadhorde Arcanist. He has, every burn hand expand spell in his hand gets doubled, so next turn he would get to Brainstorm double bolts.
Yeah, I think Dreadhorde Arcanist is the thing that's most likely to win him the game, so he should focus on getting that out.
I mean, here's the Ponder. And the flip, so he gets to attack for 3.
Mm-hmm.
And ideally, he should fetch a basic mountain and cast this Arcanist. You got to attack first, have to play around the wing shards.
Double white that Dan could definitely not pay.
Hey, Commander players, the pods are out right here.
Tom still in the tank. Here comes the fetch. Dan with the aggressive life total adjustment.
Yeah, he really should fetch a basic here just to keep his red spells coming later.
Basic 100% of the time. I mean, I could see the thought in Tom where do you want to have double blue, but it's just not worth it right now.
Yeah, you're right.
If you get wastelanded, you're so far behind. Yeah, no, with Vile Ringleader, a wasteland would be real big problems.
Yeah.
There's the Dreadhorde. Things could potentially happen here.
And that was a lucky Delver flip for Tom too, just considering he was going to spend that turn casting his Dreadhorde.
I mean, is it really a lucky Delver flip? Isn't that just kind of what?
I guess it's pretty lucky.
Isn't that just what Delver does?
Yeah.
So Dan doesn't look like he has the 4th land, which would be a problem.
Yeah. That's really bad if he doesn't have the fourth land here.
If he doesn't have the fourth land, I would almost say that.
Right here.
I'd almost say that abrading the. There's the fourth land. Okay, he's slow rolling us.
So a lot's going to depend on what he hits with this ringleader here.
So this is the velocity. Hit,
One,
hit,
two.
hit.
Wow, 3 out of 4 is really
Three's
good.
pretty not good. The worst part about this is that next turn he's going to be able to. I mean, he can't put any of that in play, right?
His Violent 2 can put
That's Crater Maker.
Yeah, Crater Maker.
Okay, so Crater Maker's coming into play, but he doesn't have any mana to deal with it. That cycle card is going to be the problem because that's going to have the ability to kill his Dreadhorde Arcanist. But we know he has quite a few burn spells in his hand, so he is going to be able to burn
one of those goblins, like the Ringleader, presumably.
Burn a Ringleader, burn something else. So he's going to be able to burn a Ringleader, burn the Matron, burn a Ringleader, burn this. He's going to be able to put 2 goblins in play.
And effectively, Tom will be able to effectively protect his Dreadhorde Arcanist then.
Tom could potentially protect his Dreadhorde Arcanist here. But it involves Chain Lightning, Flashback Chain Lightning, kill both those goblins, and not let him. Because then he would have to draw something very cheap off the top of his library.
Yeah.
So he should be able to fire off a free Brainstorm. So it should be, or Ponder, depending on what you're looking for. But he absolutely needs to Chain Lightning, Flashback Chain Lightning.
Yeah. Try and keep the critical mass of goblins
He has to keep the goblins down. I mean, this would be a generally good turn. Like, get a Brainstorm or Ponder. Brainstorm or Ponder. I'm not sure the correct one right now. I imagine it would be Ponder. Just kind of looking for a second land.
Brainstorm.
Any pure blue players in chat would like to answer or not answer that question. He does have Forcible and Daze still in.
That's surprising. Especially the Daze.
That's most definitely, a mistake.
He didn't hit his land either, which is pretty bad.
So that is another Dreadhorde Arcanist, which is very good. So he gets to draw the Dreadhorde Arcanist. I'd probably put the Forcible on after that.
Yeah, especially considering this board on Dan's side. Like, he's just going to have all uncounterable goblins.
I mean, you would save the Forcible for, an uncounterable Chalice or whatever. Mm-hmm. Or for the Chalice that might happen. So you kind of want to put the Daze in the Forcible back, yes. Just like that.
Not hitting land there is rough, though, because now his, Brainstorm... No, he wasn't going to copy it anyways with his Dreadhorde attacking.
I mean, hitting a land was the most important thing. I think that's why I definitely would have pondered to just try and get that next land drop. Mm-hmm. He still gets to bolt, but he could have bolted, and then another cantrip on top of that. There's that. We knew that was a thing. That guy dies. Then there should be the double attack with the team.
Recast that Chain Lightning at the Matron.
Recast the Chain Lightning at the Matron.
Yeah.
I mean, he is maneuvering. It just blocks. No harm, no foul.
Yeah.
I mean, cool thing here is that Dreadhorde Arcanist is just insanely powerful.
Oh, yeah. If you just let it live, the advantage it generates over the course of a long game.
And he has a second one. So if he drew, what did he draw?
I believe he drew another Cavern of Souls, because I think he has 3 land. I don't know.
Yeah, I think he drew another land.
Oh, thanks.
So he drew the land, so we know his hand is
Gem Palm Incinerator. Unknown, I believe.
Gem Palm Incinerator, unknown. So it needs to be. I mean, he can basically kill anything. He wants to cycle. He wants to not have problems, but he has problems.
Yeah.
Okay, so like that wasn't what he wanted to do.
No.
He wanted to be able to kill the Dread Horde.
At least now he can chump block the Dread Horde.
But the thing is, there's not really going to be a lot of chump blocking of the Dread Horde. There's going to be. This is how.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, it protects itself.
It's protecting itself. This is where the velocity, where Dan Ford needs to really pick up some oomph.
Get there.
So Alexander Tash wins 2-0 over Brian Kinsman, so he's our second undefeated. So he's going to play against Anthony Hare next round. It'll be Ant versus Bomberman. It's our two undefeateds.
One second, I've been missing these as they've been giving them to me. Well, for the love of Lord, ponder, bro.
He already knows the one card.
You already know the cards. Cast ponder. The bolt, the chain lightning is in fact very good. It keeps him doing things, but so he gets to do the same thing, where it's bolt attack bolt.
Yeah.
I mean, as long as he keeps these bolts going, he will run Dan Ford out of cards.
He really needs to find that third land though, so he can like keep the pressure coming. Because otherwise, he's just like not really gaining anywhere, just doing these competitive brainstorms.
He's not getting ahead.
Yeah.
What did I miss? I've looked down for a second.
Tom Silver's installing his brainstorm. He's going to put back the same two cards, looks like. His Forcible and his Daze, as the previous brainstorm.
Probably, honestly, but besides the fact that I would have cast Ponder like 15 minutes ago, I still would keep the Forcible.
Yeah. I put something potentially like a Pyrokinesis, or that could threaten his Dreadhorde
Yep.
Arcanist. And you might as well have that over like these other cards that he's not casting at the moment.
Yep. Okay, so I'm just gonna be redoing numbers over here while we're waiting for while Tom's in the tank.
Should have a lot of time for that.
I think we're done. We on those guys.
Coy got there over Gary. So this just also happens to be our last match.
What do you mean?
Or this is who we're waiting on.
Oh, okay.
This was the last match. This was the correct.
Well, that's not a surprise.
Slip got turned in and never looked at it. I just want to make sure. Yep, cool.
Tom puts back the Forcible and Daze off of that second brainstorm. Yeah, should be exiled. See, recast it off Dreadhorde. There it goes. So Tom let his Arcanist get chump blocked by Lackey and Raider Maker. Yeah, and I'm kind of surprised at that. I guess considering the second one, but
No, I feel like that's, just a mistake.
yeah, I would have tried to keep as many Dreadhordes in play as possible.
Dreadhorde, yeah, as many Dreadhordes alive as possible. I mean, he did get to play another Dreadhorde, but he's not in any better position.
Yeah.
Like, he would have killed both of the goblins.
Could have
Right?
started. Yeah, you could have started pulling ahead after that.
Because then next turn, he got to play a second Dreadhorde, and he would have had 2 active Dreadhordes.
Yeah. We'll see if Dan can capitalize on this.
I don't see Dan capitalizing, but he does have he has the Abrade.
Looks like Tom's considering where to send his Chain Lightning.
I mean, he needs to consider how to Abrade this. I don't think there's any real question.
I would just focus on the creatures, probably. I don't know how much value Chromox or Aether Vial really have at this point. I mean, I could be wrong, but...
So why is that red tapped?
It looks like he was going to cast this Chain Lightning, but he didn't end
But
up
hasn't.
using it. Yeah.
Okay, so I mean, lands are starting to appear.
I don't know what that red card in his top 3 is.
Ah,
I feel like you might want to shuffle.
Dan played a fort. Dan played a port. Port of the red.
Oh, okay.
Thank you, chat. Chat's the best.
Hey, thank you, chat.
Tom's the last match that
Tom's still deciding the order of this after this ponder. He decides to keep it on top, drawing the volcanic island. So he wants that extra mana source. Which is probably wise, considering.
I like the mana source at this point. He got the Abrade off, which I think is super, super nice.
Yeah, and he gets around that port, just cutting him off of red entirely.
And he cannot attack. Okay, he saw that he could not attack. It's not an instance where like damage on the stack matters, but it actually would have worked that way.
Yeah. Stan quickly passes the turn, ports Tom's volcanic on upkeep. True Name Nemesis from Tom Coffin. There's that Pyroblast again.
Again, this is where the Force of Will
Fulfilling its role.
keeping an active Force of Will here.
It's out of blue cards. That Daze actually would have been useful in hand. As Force of Will fodder.
At least he still doesn't get to attack, right? No attacks.
Nah.
Yeah, I don't even know if I would have True Name Nemesis there. I think I would have Chain Lightninged this guy.
Just start pushing more advantage through with Dreadhorde.
Here's another one. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like he needs to kill that because now it's...
The board's getting out of hand for Tom now.
I mean, at this point, though, Tom should still have 2.
Dreadhorde.
He should have 2 Dreadhordes.
And we know he's going to draw a Daze here on his draw step, so... So Tom abrades on upkeep in response to the Rashadan Port trigger, or activation, getting some use of
He
that.
drew another Abrade.
No, he had that one in hand from previously. He knows about the gem palm though, so.
The gem palm was cast.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I'm fine with this. I mean, he already has one. I'd make the land drop, right?
He likes to take the chain of lightning.
There you go. He's slowly getting there. The power of
Dan Ford wastelands that volcanic, so he'll be able to keep him off red at sorcery speed for the time being. Delver, Ponder, and Volcanic. I think I would take the Delver for sure here. Tom's going to cast a second True Name Nemesis this game.
will this one resolve?
Yeah, he already fought through the one Pyroblast. So Tom Kaufman in the driver's seat here. His True Name, that incredible board presence.
He finally actually got there with the Dreadhorde Arcanist.
Yeah.
As much as
So now this True Name should carry him to victory by damage alone.
Dan Ford the lackey just a little bit too late here. Attack, recast.
Ponder.
The Ponder, and this is what Tom needed to be doing with the double.
I think you keep the Brainstorm on top.
I think you shuffle.
Yeah.
This is a Ponder, so you souffle these away. It even rhymes.
He has a Delver in hand that he could effectively guarantee to flip off of this.
But the Wasteland that he just played effectively does nothing.
Yeah, that's true.
Maybe you kill the port?
Delver Secrets. We know it's going to flip, so maybe he's worried about that time.
Tom Kaufman getting aggressive. I mean, I think the True Name Nemesis gets you there. He has the double bolt in his hand. That's. I mean, he has the bolt, Arcanist bolt.
Yeah.
And Dan has no real way to stop it.
Yeah.
Here is a 6 big old goblin.
Pyrokinesis, hard cast.
Pyrokinesis. There's the force. There's the force. Yeah! Victory!
That Force of Will could have come at maybe used at a better time.
He finally force of willed something. I'm so happy.
And we know it's this should be game then.
Yeah, that's super game. That's enough damage right there.
Yeah.
3, 6, chain lightning in his hand. I mean, he does get to block one, but still, that's not enough.
You can just cast this chain lightning and then it's over.
Yeah, so the chain lightning is actually 6 damage to the face. But he's not going to. He's
gonna slow roll it.
Almost BM? Yeah, he's slow rolling. Oh, he has chain lightning in his yard, so it doesn't really matter. And I don't know why he was slow rolling the
Yeah.
last chain lightning. Like I'm very confused about this.
Tom Coffin wins this one over Dan Ford. Goes to 2-1. Dan Ford will 1-2 into our
2-1 Tom.
And we got it. So we're getting ready for round 3. Should be relatively quick.